there.
Hello there. It's
Good.
well, again, good evening, folks.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, good evening. It's April the 24th, and I thought we'd talk about the topic of, I don't know what topic you'd really call this, but it's about. I recently spoke to a client actually that was contemplating paying $8,000 to have a moved from them.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and how the fact that this client, the person had got a complete control of her life. You know, she was saying that
Right.
if I go, she'd got her to put a crystal underneath the bed, and that every move that this poor lady was making was dependent on what this lady was saying.
Oh, golly.
And she was at the point of paying this lady $8,000 because this lady had said that this other woman in reality had put a curse on her that was preventing her from having a good relationship with
Oh.
her partner.
And now, was this in the States that you talked to this lady, or was
It,
this in England?
in the States, unfortunately. I
Yeah.
think it was somewhere in California,
Oh, no.
where it was. And the trauma that this lady was going through when she was to me, because she was absolutely convinced the lady was correct and that someone had put a curse on her. And I was trying to explain that everybody that's psychic, everybody can, because she was saying things like, well, it's right because this lady knew everything about me and she knew these different things about me and all this, that, and the other. And I'm saying, and I was trying to explain to her, yeah, but if she is psychic, she is going to know those things about you. She will know these things about you. But like in life, you know, a psychics can be, they can use their abilities for good or they can use their abilities for bad, or you know, and extortionate. And I just couldn't believe that this lady was contemplating paying $8,000 for, because apparently she'd got to create this, what she called like a tabernacle of something or another, that was going to create this
I
whatever it was.
suspect the perpetrator, the
Yeah.
psychic, probably had been charging her other monies. And then
Yes.
build up
Yes.
to it.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
my world, I've had clients call me up and say, this lady will remove the curse for a $500 candle. And I says, I have a Brooklyn Bridge I'd like to sell you. And I think that these psychics are really good at being a psychic, but they're also understanding human psyche, and they find the weakness in somebody. Like someone
That's
never
right.
could say to me, I have a relationship problem, but they could say to me, you need to find your anchor where you want to live, and you're weak on doing that. So, I mean, I made up something. I'm trying to think. It's like psychics sometimes can say, I know what your weakness is, so I'm going to play on it because you gave me the
That's right.
signals, you gave me the eye look, or something. I'm going to get dizzier doing that with my eyes, but I think that they can watch your mannerisms and your wordage, and then they say, that's weakness I'm going to play on, and my ploy is. And there's so many good people out there that want to help people, and then there's others who have no other ways to make a living and need a lot of money, so they're going to manipulate a situation to get more money. In some
That's
ways,
right. That's
they go to a place of your weakness, but your ego, because everybody wants to win, and everybody wants to pay, everybody wants to be right, and there's a trust thing too. So people have said to me over the years, I trust you because you talked to me before, so we have to build a trust relationship to be a better psychic.
that's right. That's
So
right.
they also can use that ploy. I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to help you. You're not going to be abandoned by me. And so that
That's right.
parent
That's right.
relationship. Wow.
That's right.
So tell me
That's
about
right.
this lady. She called you out of the blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It was.
so
It was. Yeah.
what did
Yeah.
she ask you?
Well, she was, first of all, the first things out of her mouth were that she was absolutely worried to death that she got a curse on her. And I went into I started off saying, well, how do you know that you've got a curse on you? I said, because often you find that if people are going to say that you've got a curse, if somebody curses you, 9 times out of 10, the person tells you that you've got a curse on you, because a lot of the time with curses, the reason why they work is because it's the power that you give them that
Absolutely.
work, and it's the belief in them that they work, and that's the power that it's the power that we, as the people who think we're cursed, give them. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why a lot of the people or people that deal in curses actually tell you that they're cursing you, because then it compounds your idea, and anything that happens after that, you automatically assume it's because you're cursed, whether it is or whether it isn't.
Yeah.
You know, and this poor woman was just really beside herself, because now that this lady had said she'd got a curse on her, she'd obviously put the seed out in her mind straight away.
Yeah.
And the thing is, she couldn't afford the money to pay her.
Oh.
So then it was, oh my God, how can I get rid of this? And everything that's then was going wrong, she was automatically assuming that it was because this lady had said,
Association.
because she put a curse on. Exactly, Nancy. And because this psychic had got things right about the person's character, the belief and the trust that you said earlier on had already been established. Because having spoke to her at length, a good sort of 2 hours, I spoke to this lady,
Oh,
and having spoke
2
to her,
hours.
yeah,
Oh.
having spoke to her, concerning a lot of the time concerning the mechanics of how curses work, why she was in the predicament we're in, and that she'd been to this lady, like you said, on a regular basis, and it gradually is a build-up. And she'd given her this crystal to put under her bed, and I'm a firm believer that sometimes if for instance I gave you something, and my thought, because I believe, and you believe, I would imagine, Nancy, that thoughts are living things, and thoughts are living. They are real, and they go into the ether, and they can create stuff.
Right.
So if someone has given you something that's a little bit negative, that negativity of that thought, when they've given it, it can grow. You see?
Yep.
And this lady had already given the client a crystal, and I said, well, if she's put negative thoughts in, if she's coming from an intent that is negative,
Yeah.
and you're taking away that negative energy with you,
Yeah.
and that in fact is what's causing perhaps things to go wrong. It's not that you've got the lady that's saying that you've got a curse on you, it has got nothing to do with it. It's probably the negativity that she's
handing
putting,
over. Yeah.
yeah,
And she's
is
believing
handing
it.
to you. That's right, she's believing it. You know, and the conversation just went on, and I said, I just I couldn't believe, and I still can't believe that she would be. I said that she would be contemplating her to pay $1,000. I mean, that's just like extortionate.
It
I mean,
is.
it's I said to her, I said, I tell you what, I said, you get a PayPal account. I said, and you put $8,000 into my account. I said, and I'll tell you anything that you like. I said, and I. I said, I'll tell you that you've got, I'll tell you the hair's going to turn purple if you like for that. I said, and I'll tell you anything you want for that. Because I tried to really to come across with the element of fun to break the negativity that this lady was under, but I just thought, how people can get into a place because of other people's influence over people, because of their ego to be something that they're not, or bigger than they want.
I'm sure that those individuals, we won't say names or who they are, I suspect they have regular clientele, yet they may not see the weakness in a particular person, so that client will have a reading and be gone. It's the client that comes in that has lost their power or a sense of their own ego, and they see them as easy prey. When I lived in Sacramento, California most of my life, and I've moved to Arizona just 8 years ago. And the years prior to that, I had a friend, and I'd give a reading to my friends, and we just banter, right? And so she had a situation where she had married for the third time and was dealing with infidelity. And someone approached her at a gas station and said, your husband's cheating on you. I can help you. Just out of the blue. So she was a really good psychic. Well, ended up paying her $1,400 for sessions. And then she said the last draw is carrying my friend enough money, and the will be free, will be even. And so, unfortunately, that's what happened, is that my friend finally said, wait a minute, I'm not going to do this. This is something wrong. And she came and admitted what was going on. And then I says, for 15 minutes, I'll sit down with you, and we can talk about this infidelity issue. And what it come to, she had married twice before, and picked men who, and this should be another talk for us, picked men cheated on her. And so the third husband, when she found out that was happening, I says, "Did your mother get cheated on by your dad?" Said yes. And so there's a pattern set up. And so
Yeah,
this
yeah,
pattern, this
absolutely.
other psychic could feel the pattern or got key words from her and said, "Oh, this is going on." And she says, you have a curse on you that you'll have men who cheat. So I'm going to help you through this. And that's what this ploy. And here, my gosh, I never get a series of reading. I never escalate my prices. And I never promise an outcome that I can't by just a candle. So
Yeah,
legitimate people will talk you through the process and find out where your weakness is and fix that versus a curse.
exactly. That's and that's exactly what I was hoping to do with this lady, because I went into the whole process of that. She's a person that she was somebody that was always questioning things, Nancy, if you know what I mean. She was constantly questioning. She was in that frame of mind where there was a lot of self-doubt, lot of lack of self-confidence,
Hmm.
lots of unsureties. You know, combine that with combine that with her life, combine that with her emotional state about this guy. You know, she so much, and she was very doubtful about that, and he was seeing someone else, and that sort of thing, and then combined all the doubt, the self-doubt with it. And then you've got someone that's coming along here that's saying, you've got a curse on you,
Oh,
and I can sort this out. And like you've just said, playing on people's basically playing on people's vulnerabilities.
sure.
It's a real big no-no, and it's not the first client that I've had, and I don't think for 1 minute it'll be the last. There was another client of mine. This was in the UK. This was some time ago now, and he was trying to. It was an Asian couple. They were trying for a baby, and they'd been to, like, I suppose it would be like this guru or something,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
they call that. We would probably
Shaman.
call him a medium. Yeah, 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 something like that. Yeah, and this shaman again had told my friend at the time that if he paid him £1,500, that's probably around about $3,000,
Oh,
okay, for one candle,
oh,
right? But not only did he need one candle, he'd six of these specific
I'm so
candles.
stunned.
So that's six. It's, so that's like six times $3,000, right? Which is like what, 10,000, 12, 10,000 odd dollars or something like that. Um, and I couldn't believe that he come to me to ask me whether he should pay it or not. And
well,
I said to him, I said, what? I said, I tell you what, I said, you pay me half of that. I said, and I'll sort it out for you. And he just looked at me and he says, I'm not going to. I said, well, if you're not going to pay me, don't. Anyway, as luck would have it, I mean, he came to me, and I managed to get in touch with his grandfather that passed away, who said to me that there was a child waiting for him, and he was saying that there was a boy that's coming. And I said, listen to what the spirit, your grandfather, is saying. And within 6 months, they had a baby boy,
yeah.
without him having to pay
No.
a penny.
Well, they're showing
You
the
know what I
doubt
mean, Nancy?
and showing their distrust by connecting to you. And I think the universe brings people around to wake them up. But I kind of wonder why they want to turn their power over and actually think that a candle or something else, a candle or whatever you said earlier, could change an outcome for somebody that has no physical connection. I'm so dumbfounded by a story. I'm just like holding my chin up.
Well, it is, because it makes you think to yourself, well, how, there's people like myself and yourself who is here struggling for a living,
Hmm.
and yet there's people out there that are doing this, and
And getting
you know what I mean? And you just think to yourself, well, where am I going wrong? What am I doing wrong somewhere along the line? Or where am I going wrong? But it just goes to show that, because again, another thing as well is I always try and tell people to make sure that if ever you do go to a psychic or a medium, don't be frightened to ask questions.
hmm.
Don't be frightened to question the person, right? And if you feel that you're not getting, if you find that within the first 5 minutes of you into a psychic or a medium, that you're not getting sort of any good results or something, it's better to say, look, sorry, but this is not working, and we'll move away.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find that, you know, if it's not there in the first 5 minutes, it's not going to be there within half an hour,
Mm-hmm.
40 minutes, 50 minutes, you know. But it's just a shame that people get into this frame of mind, like you said, Nancy, that they feel that by them doing something external, like a candle, or I don't know, it could be anything,
Crystal
you
under
know.
the bed.
Yeah, that's it, crystal under bed. How they can, you know, sort of think that that's going to sort of enhance their life, when really a lot of it is buried within them, in here,
Right.
that can answer
Well,
life, not within any
I'm going to
object.
add to that. An inanimate object has no life force to be able. It does have an energy field around. Everything is alive to me, but it has no consciousness to say, I'm the powerful thing that can change your outcome. I see no energy ball coming from it to enter your chest for a heart problem, or entering someone's womb to give a baby. Only the power of the mind. So then you go to a place of saying, people pray to deities, statues, the forest. So there is a trust and a belief system. So if you take that powerful belief system, if you go to a church and you pray, environment of a church, you're praying to the divine. If you pray to an inanimate object, candle or crystal, and trust it, does that change your outcome or something? Or are you giving the power of trust and prayer to an inanimate object, hoping it will pray to the deity, to your deity, praying to your soul to have something happen? I'm hoping this makes sense, everybody. But it's almost like when I was church environment in my youth, I go to the Catholic Church, and there was a praying process there, and I was given my power to pray there for an outcome. Now that I'm a minister, I believe praying here, but at no time am I praying to a rock or a candle, you know. So that praying to a rock or candle isn't going to affect me in anything. It's the universe and praying to yourself. Say, my higher self, am I supposed to have a child? Or am I supposed to have a fortune? Show me the way or give me that child. You know, you're giving your power, and it makes no sense. I hope people can get this from me. I'm going to hold up a rock, everybody, and I want you to pray for it for 5 minutes for prosperity. Let me see what your outcome's going to be in a week, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. But I think as well, I think another avenue is that it leaves people with fear, doesn't it? It leaves people with, I mean, and this poor lady was absolutely, I mean, you could just tell the way she was talking to me that she was in fear.
Wow.
And I think for somebody to leave somebody in fear, you know, it would be like me saying to you, Nancy, oh, Nancy, you know, if you've got to pay me £1,000 because there's all this bad luck, and then you thinking, well, how can I do that? I've got no money. I can't. What am I going to do? I've got all this bad luck around me. And it leaves the client in such a bad state that they don't know what to do, and it makes, you know, and I think that's completely wrong, really.
That's probably
in my
sins of the
opinion.
universe.
I mean,
People told me one day, listen to the way I said that. Spirit people talked to me one day, 10, 12 years back. I had the impression that a spirit person was telling me that there was only one commandment in the whole universe. And I went, really? How about the 10 commandments? And they said, well, you wanted more definition. And so what it was is that they said, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. That's the only command in the whole universe. And they said that implied whatever free will we have, you cannot take it from that individual. Because if someone takes you take free will from somebody else, the universe will turn around and take your free will from you. And that's how this works. And so if someone is implying that you have a curse and I'm going to put this on you and make you afraid, you are tampering with whatever free will they have to make their life choices. That's the biggest sin in the whole. That is a big one. Every other condition you can apply to that one commandment. And I went, wow, I'm going to have to think this through.
Yeah.
See how many ways I can tinker with it and make it right. So whoever you're speaking of, they're marking their being, their soul, with notches that are negative. So when they go over, they're going to have to answer to take whatever free will there is. They're tampering with someone's life. on a negative
That's
aspect.
right.
You and I, we're trying to get
That's
them
right.
back on their path. I'm not trying to take your power to make me more powerful. I want you to be more powerful. Never has anybody talked to me where I haven't tried to bolster their soul, their ego, their id in any way. I'm always trying to make
Yeah,
people more positive and look at things
that's it. Yeah.
clearer. And to think that there's someone out there that, and I've had these questions. I've had people come call me, write me, and say, "I'm looking for someone who takes curses away." Hello,
That's it. No,
I don't even
that's
want to
it.
go down
And
that road. That's
no, yeah, well, that's it. Because you see, once that seed has been planted,
mhm.
it's really difficult to get rid of that seed. And this woman now, no matter what anybody says, even though I talked to her and I talked in depth, and I gave her some techniques to sort of cleanse the atmosphere around her home, just using ordinary glasses of water and salt. No more, no nothing than that, to take the negative energies away and to clear her auric field. But no matter what you say, that lady now is always going to have that thought in her
yeah.
mind, and that will never ever go. That she will always have that, and there'll always be that seed of doubt now because of that one person saying that. And I just think it's awful for them to get people in that position.
Kind of curious before we close up now.
You know,
We're talking about the woman you dealt with and the $8,000. At the end of the time you spent with her, how did she have a change of heart, a change of direction, or did you get seeing this was wrong? How did we
yeah,
finish? How did that finish up? I know someone's watching this
yeah,
thinking, well, you didn't tell me how this ended up with this lady. She walked away still
yeah,
upset. Tell us how it ended up.
yeah. Well, at the end of sort of around about 2 hours that I spent with her, she said she felt absolutely elated. She felt really happy. She was so pleased that she'd spoken to me. And I said, "And are you going to give her the $8,000?" And she said, "No, no, no." I said, "I'm really pleased I've spoke to you." So I think that what else worked, and I think that I'd like to think that I put her back onto the path that she was on, about her own, empowering herself and take reign of that power again. I
Mhm.
mean, it was a very lengthy conversation, too lengthy to
Tired.
go
Oh my
into.
gosh.
You know, but the outcome was positive, and she did. It did. I was able to manage to turn it round and point her in the right direction, and also give her the answer he did without even. I mean, God, if she'd paid me £8,000 for 2 hours, or I could have had the rest of the month off. Um,
I
you
know,
know,
a year,
but
6 months.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, so
So it was definitely, but at the same time, it wasn't about them, and it was just me trying to help somebody that was in need, like yourself, Nancy. It's getting that person back to where they should be, and hopefully, yeah, I think she got that.
good. All right. We'll call it a day. Talk to you later, everybody.
I think so.
Okay.
See you
Bye.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.